And we are live. What's up, everybody? I'm Jay from Leprechaun TV and your host of the Hot Seat, where we light the fire underneath our guest seat. And tonight we have Jason back from OL'Chefskis Barbecue with a quick turnaround. Uh, he was on the hot seat. He invited me to his restaurant to have what they call an industry days, industry nights, where everybody gets together and shares stories, shares great food, and it was a great time. I appreciate the invite, man. Thank you.
Definitely good times, man. I'm glad you made it out. And I was telling some other people for that day, it's basically a choose your own adventure type event. Your participation level is whatever you want to make of it, and bringing people together in the industry and the camaraderie between cooks and people in the service industry on a night that we normally have off, but there's nothing to do. Um, I mean, what was your take on it?
Uh, I think it was awesome. I wish it was better weather. We probably could have camped out at the barbecue spot, but yeah,
Honestly, we couldn't have asked for a better day for what we had going on. But yeah, you're
true.
you're a
It
little
was
chilly.
beautiful, but once that sun went down, obviously it got a little chilly.
Yes.
Uh, for so he intertwined a clam bake to this day. So it was your day got started what 8, 9, 10 in the morning,
Um,
somewhere around there.
well, Phil met me there for coffee, and Grace was working on some kind of. She was trying to find donuts, which actually ended up falling through. The donut shop was missing staff, so they couldn't. They couldn't make our order. But she ran all over the place and ended up finding some stuff, and me and Phil had some running around to do. So we had coffee. We got going about 7:30 in the morning,
Hmm.
and um, as the day progresses on, we did a breakfast gathering, and every you know people bring stuff in. Bernie actually picked up 90% of the breakfast food. We had our vendors. Cisco and Hormel donated a bunch of bacon that we ended up cooking up. Was absolutely awesome.
Hmm.
Um, you know, but breakfast starts out. You got your people coming in for coffee, and we did breakfast burritos, and Phil made some sausage gravy, and you know, Bernie knocked it out of the park for breakfast on that Blackstone. Um, throughout the days, you're getting cleaned up from breakfast. In comes a lunch crowd and a whole different group of people and a whole new set of skills. And you showed up right around lunchtime, and you were there from pretty much start to finish of lunch. You rocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You had reached out and was like, "Hey, lunch with Lep is your time slot. Do whatever you want." So I had full reins of doing whatever I wanted to do. I wanted to get there earlier and catch breakfast, and that would got the ball rolling for me a little better. But I missed breakfast. Well, I really didn't miss breakfast, but I came in after it was done cooked, and that's when it was just getting to know everybody and meet everybody and chit chatting and explaining where you're from and who you are and stuff like that. Right here we got Race Vice Smokehouse and Grill. Uh, hey Jason, sorry I couldn't make it to your event. Always great
Right.
time and love your stuff.
That's Larry. He's part of Phil's crew out of Chicago. There, good dude.
Awesome, awesome. We got some people joining us.
We actually
Slowly but surely.
some of them guys took off from my place. They headed to Chapel Hill, North Carolina,
Uh-huh.
and they're there now doing kind of a a similar thing. But what they're actually doing is a full weekend of live fire cooking, and
I seen them tying up a pig.
yeah, they got all kinds of stuff going on. Tony made it down there. I seen him laying out some charcuterie and working on a pig, and Them guys are going to have a blast this weekend. But once again, that's kind of, where the idea comes from. There's so much networking and, different products. I'm looking at your table there, and man, you made out like, yeah, you got hooked up.
I got hooked up, man. I walked away with a big old smile.
I know. I talked to you the next day. You said you were still smiling.
Yes. Yes.
What do you got on the table there? You want to run through that?
Yeah. So we'll go farthest. All the way over there, the red seasoning is.
Is that sriracha?
That's
the Nashville Heat.
Yes,
there it is.
Nashville Heat seasoning. I cannot wait to try this. Oh man, it's going to be so awesome. Next to it, we have the steak and burger seasoning.
Steak and burger. That went on my meatloaf today. That's like that's my top layer before they hit the smoker.
Right on, right on. So at the clam bake, you had corn on the cob and It's Phil Wingo. If you guys follow any Pork Mafia, it's Pork Mafia Street crew, and Phil Wingo is the main guy. He suggested the Greek Mafia on the corn, and it was fantastic. Tell you that. I really enjoyed that.
That corn.
Actually, I wanted to go back and sprinkle a little more on there, to tell you the truth.
That corn that came up that day was from my mom's market right up the road, and it was probably picked earlier that morning before we got it. So you're getting the best of the localness, and some flavor from Chicago, straight from Greece. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about corn on the cob with Greek at like 7:30 in the morning.
And of course he had give me some of this, man. So you gotta explain a little bit about this and what we tasted after I did my street tacos.
What did you use any of that on them?
No, but isn't that what man, I'm drawing a blank on his name. The one that was cooking in a wok.
Tony.
Tony.
Logie.
Yeah, is that what he was? Oh, okay.
That's Tony's seasoning blend.
Okay.
And he makes all that from scratch. Like there's some of those pastes and stuff, some of the pepper sauces and stuff he's had stashed away like forever. Like I don't want to compare it to fermenting anything or having like a mother of something, but Tony's a mad scientist.
Yeah, that was very. My camera's falling. Hold on.
I thought you were throwing cans at a skunk.
That was earlier. But yeah. So explain what he did, because that was so awesome.
Well, he made like, he said it was like almost a 50-pound batch, and it was 4 different kinds, and some of it was pork and some of it was beef. We ended up with, I believe, the spicy pork. But yeah, that's all his blend, and that's pretty much Korean barbecue style from what I gather.
Yeah. It just was. It was done with pork instead of beef.
Yes, that batch was. But and through the same process, if you follow Tony, he does a lot of. He shares quite a bit of that stuff as he's making it on his page, and he does tons of videos. But he'll be in the process of making some of that stuff, and you can literally watch him follow along with him. He also he offers some classes throughout the year, and does like a workshop, which it's same thing. All people in the industry for the most part, or if you're a home cook and want to learn how to make sausage, he
Right.
invites you down for a small fee. You come down. He goes through the process. He provides basically all the ingredients. You'll make a batch there with him, and you'll cook some of it. Everybody will eat good. You get to taste some of the charcuterie, and he's really putting together a great program down there on Chippewa Lake, and that would be Parlor Farms. But no, Tony's like he's a mad scientist when it comes to that stuff. It's the charcuterie is unbelievable.
So he's actually posting some pictures today, and he's got this huge piece of wood
Yes.
that's cut out just like a thin layer of a huge trunk of a tree.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
that's
looks
a big
badass.
board.
Yeah, that looks bad. It looks heavy to be carrying around, but I guess once you put it in place, you could dress it up. I wouldn't doubt it takes up a whole 6 foot table, maybe even more.
Yeah, I would say it's 6 foot long, and he's wild, man. He'll fill the whole thing.
Hmm.
there'll,
Right?
there'll be there'll be so much cheese and meat on that thing. It'll be
Yeah.
unbelievable. If you
And
follow those guys throughout the weekend, and the stuff you'll see is just it's we're missing out.
yeah, for sure.
They got they're going to have beautiful weather. It's going to fall out on us tomorrow, and we're going to miss out all the way around there.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it sucks. That's why I had to do the show from outside tonight.
Get the last of it in.
Probably gonna be the last one. Inside, I'm working on a banner for the inside, and we'll go from there. But if not, you'll see Corona flying in the background. I really don't care. I'm here to entertain, not just display. But
Right.
I know one thing that started that morning. There was a little bit of this.
Yes. Yeah, right out of the gate. And that's another Pork Mafia product as well. He's got it in his catalog. He's got some other. He does some different coffees and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not just, I guess, rubs and sauce. He's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. He's got some cleaning products, some charcoal he's got up there. He's even got a few bottles of my sauce sitting on a shelf.
Right on. So for those that out there that like Bloody Marys, I suggest you. I don't even know how to get a hold of them. Is there a website? What's the website? Do you know the call letters for the website?
Not off the top, but I
Yeah.
believe it's excuse me, Pork Mafia US. He's got a line in Europe too. So there's a Pork Mafia US and then a Pork Mafia. I'm not sure they call it EU on the other one or something.
Yeah. So this stuff right here is chunky. You don't need to add anything but vodka to this. That's
Yes.
all you need.
That's the bold one.
Yeah. So look for this where are we at here? This emblem here. You'll know you're in the right place. You see that?
Yes.
But definitely get some of that. I haven't tried it yet with vodka, but I tried it by itself, and it was fine. I mean, it was like V8 on steroids. I mean, there's herbs in there.
Yeah, I think that's the spicy. The stuff that was in the cans was more of a traditional, but that stuff
Okay.
in the bottle is stout, and I believe that's the spicy. But I think even there might even be some other recipes to cook with that stuff as well.
Yeah. I'm afraid to try it. Like I said, uh, I like Bloody Marys too much to where I drink too much of this stuff, and it messes with the guts. If you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But yeah, man. So had some great things happen that day. I was so blessed. Um, I'm still riding that high. That's why I was like, yeah, let's run this hot seat back and let's talk about industry days and hopefully it could grow. Um,
Well, I would
a lot
certainly.
of us YouTubers already do stuff like that with like we call it meet and eat,
Right.
stuff like that. But this is more um, entrepreneur side of things.
Well, that's the real nice part about it too is, everybody that was there, we're all mom and pop's business. I mean, you had Snooty's Barbecue. Them guys drove down from Sandusky, and yet they had to prep to get ready for the following day. I mean, they drove an hour and a half to come down, hang out, see what was going on. They brought some kick-ass macaroni salad, and they had to hit the road to get on with their day. But them guys have literally been doing a seasonal barbecue on the side of the road there in Sandusky. This is their 13th season, and that's freaking amazing. Like, there's a lot of businesses that are gone in a couple of years or whatever, but to be doing that particular thing for that long and keeping it good and consistent,
Hmm.
that's the kind of people that you want to bring into your circle. I mean, obviously they're doing something right. You got Hatfield's Good Grub that made it out.
Yeah.
SWAT Food Truck made it out. Jim's Open Kitchen 2 in Streetsboro. um, Delero's Pizzeria, and for them guys to come out, on a day off when nobody ever gets to hang out, and especially on a Monday, and bring some of their staff and sit down and have a meal. I mean, Adam Adam over there at the pizzeria, he had his daughter's birthday party while we were there. I mean, it don't get any better than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking. I don't think anybody really knew what was going on. Obviously, you guys probably did, but everybody else walking through the place didn't. I seen the table over in the corner. I seen the mom setting it up. Didn't think anything about it. I thought there was more food over there. Uh, but hence why there is the younger generation, some kids there with us, uh, loving that big field. Which, for those that don't know, OL'Chefskis barbecue sits on an old golf course, so there's a lot of grass for these kids to just run amok.
Right. And that's well, that was kind of the other thing too, is Adam and his wife Tiffany do a fall fest every year down at I'm not going to quote the name because I'll probably butcher it, but I believe it's Pigeon Roost Farms, somewhere down by
Okay.
Zanesville.
Right.
And they're gone literally Thursday to Sunday, throughout the fall doing this thing. And they go down there and they set up basically a whole strip. I mean, he's got every vendable item you could imagine. He's got his hands in all of it. But his daughter's birthday fell while they were down there doing Fall Fest on that Saturday. So Monday was like, the first chance you can get to once again get back and get everybody together. So, whether we're grinding it out at the restaurant or it's something else like that involved, it's like once you're in this business, it's completely consuming.
Right. And
So,
and and that was a good thing that everybody had that day off. You know what I mean?
right.
Uh, but what's a muck? Running
So,
amok.
so, as far as everybody getting together and everybody cooking a bunch of different stuff and just a whole lot of tasting and whatnot was happening.
Hmm.
Two best dishes that went down that day. What are you pulling for?
Mac and cheese
Oh, come on now.
and the brisket. I mean, the brisket was on point, man. Brisket was on point.
Um,
I'm I'm, I'm a critiquer of brisket, man.
well, that's cool.
Um,
I'll take it.
it,
I'll
it,
take it.
it that was very very good, very good.
Awesome. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Those were the staples.
yeah. That
Um,
honestly, that mac and cheese, the big shell that you used,
yeah.
sucked up all that cheese, man. So every bite of the shell, you got an explosion. It was like a macaroni and cheese gusher.
Yeah, sure. So I would have to say, out of the, I don't know, what we have, maybe between 35 and 50 people there mid dinner.
Yeah,
There was quite a few. But by that point, I think the two things that I heard everybody talk about the most were Chris's bacon wrap smoked pears
yes,
and your street corn.
really. Street
Yes,
corn,
the
the
street corn.
easiest thing of all day.
Well,
Even
that's when you said
even not even the Bugatti didn't.
Bulogi. Like I said, I'm going to remember
Bugatti,
that forever.
Bugatti,
Bugatti.
the
Yeah,
Bugatti didn't get a.
some of that Korean Bugatti. No, that's raveable. But you know what? When you hear Tony showing up and he's bringing that, that's almost to be expected. Like that's almost a showstopper. It's hard to compete with that. So your thought on the street corn was the same thing that I was thinking when you said mac and cheese. Like, really? The easiest thing there. That's what this guy picks.
Right, right.
The Bugatti definitely tops the macaroni and cheese.
Here's the thing: is I brought both home, and the Mrs. Lepp says the mac and cheese was on point, so I have to back her on that. And she did taste the Bugatti, and
There's a couple other words that fit right in there, but I don't.
she tasted the
Yeah, that one. Don't say it.
but she did taste it, and she's like, you know what? There's a real subtle heat there, but there's something else that makes you want to come back for it.
Well, Grace doesn't like anything spicy, and I was watching her make tacos of that stuff. Like,
I did too.
Yes, exactly. And like black pepper is too much for her. So
It was definitely more sweet than heat,
yes.
and that's what brought me back. And then I was like, I practically don't eat my own food, so you know what I mean. Obviously chorizos, I do that all the time, so I already know what that street taco tastes like. Brisket taco, street taco was on point. But did you realize something that I forgot to put out?
Yeah, the pickled onions.
Son of a mother. You know,
I went in there today. I was like, man, maybe you left a jar of those, and they were gone. I'm like, fuck.
I thought about it too, and I'm like, but the thing was, is the jars had Jones Bones lid. I used their lids.
Oh, Brian could send me a bill.
Right.
I really tried.
My bad. I mean, dude,
Good.
it's the easiest recipe ever. It's easier than that street corn that I did.
Right.
So everybody out there, the street corn consisted of frozen corn from Walmart freezer section, Duke's mayo, Uncle Steve's seasoning. Obviously, that's we'll talk about that in a minute. But Uncle Steve's Gator Shake and Cheetos.
That threw everybody for a loop.
Cheetos.
Didn't you say something at first about flaming hot Cheetos?
I go for the jalapeno cheddar.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
Is that what?
Heinen's near you didn't have the jalapeno cheddar, so I just got the regular cheddar. Crushed that up, sprinkled it right over the top of that thing, and so when you got a spoonful, you had crunchy, creamy corn with a hint of lime. Um, One thing I did forget was cilantro. Cilantro would have probably been uh, the other ingredient that you could use. You could throw jalapeno in there. You could do the cheddar and just throw little diced up jalapenos in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could. There's so many options with that. It's one of the easiest meals on the griddle mortar that Todd Tobin does. I just take it. You take it and you run with it. You do your own thing to it. I could have swore I could have swore I said there was 5 ingredients to it.
Maybe.
Corn, seasoning, Dukes, and Cheetos. Yeah, 4 ingredients.
Did you ever thought about throwing a can of Rotel tomato and green chilies in there?
You could do that too, for sure. Definitely. So I'm on this new kick. 505 Southwestern Chilies. You seen it in the jar yet?
No, but I don't get out much.
Well, I didn't even check to see if Heinen's had it, but I know Walmart does have it.
Even Heinen's or Walmart, I mean, just about everything we use, even at home, comes on a semi. So okay. I don't hit the store much, but Grace is in.
Good for you. They have this new thing out today. It's called a telephone, and they have apps. Yes. You might want to go to Google Play Store, and they will deliver to your house like a pizza.
We do that. We do a lot of that.
During COVID, we were Giant Eagle app. Bing, bing, bing,
Well, we use Instacart, but even, some of the stuff for the restaurant, I mean, we run low on full pans or half pans or lids or something stupid. I'll Instacart that stuff right to the restaurant because by the time we spend our time running around to get it and whatever, it's it definitely has its purposes. I tell a lot of guys that do what we do to pull Instacart just to check sale ads.
Really?
Because, like Ron up the road there from you guys in Grafton, he shops 3-4 different stores. Whoever's got, that guy's.
I'm the same way. I'll go to 3-4 different stores.
Well, whoever's the cheapest. But if you pull up an Instacart app and you start looking at their sales ads, you'll know without driving around who's the cheapest.
So just don't actually order from Instacart.
Do your homework.
Technology.
Do your diligence.
Right.
Yes. And if you are crunched for time, hey, gas is going back up to $5 a gallon. Have the shit delivered.
Right. True that. Another thing I ended up taking home that night.
You know what I took home? Yes, there's that.
I did get a special 2 bottles of this. I have not cracked it open. I have not tasted it. And when I was there, guys, he only did a brisket. And so that had seasoning on it, no sauce. And so I will give you a review coming soon.
I think
barbecue sauce.
I think you just run down the table there one night and burn off some of them products and see what you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got plans for everything here, and the only thing I brought to the table was some stickers. To tell you the truth about myself, you know what I mean?
No. I ended up with a bunch of Uncle Steve Shake.
True.
I got a little something of everything to try.
Yeah,
What,
that's something that I could give back to because Steve and I have that relationship. Um, he's all for the networking. You know what I
well,
mean?
exactly. Yeah, and that's what it's about. Tell me, what's the dessert shake about?
So put that on some vanilla ice cream first, so you could get a, a feel for it.
What's in it?
Uh, coarse cane sugar, uh, granulated sugar maybe, and
In this mash?
some brown sugar and some cinnamon. I want to
Okay.
say those are like the main ingredients. It's real chunky, so
As
it
it
works
should be.
well. It which
Flame.
it works. Yeah, it works well on the ice cream. But there's so many other desserts you could put. I seen somebody shaking some on some bacon.
I was thinking popcorn, bacon.
Did you? Oh, Phil took the Gator Shake. Gator Shake on some popcorn, or the original. If you got the original on some
Hmm.
popcorn, that's my thing to do is to shake it on some popcorn. Fries, French fries, shake it on some fries.
We've
Um,
in the past too, we've done some maple glazed bacon donuts, which I'm sure you could
so
do a
put
little.
some dessert shake. Add some dessert shake in there just to see. Um, maybe cut back on some sugar here and add that or something. You know what I mean? Because it's sweet. It's sweet.
That could
But
have
it
that could have went on those pears.
true that. Yes, they would have went really well on that pear, and then the saltiness of that bacon. Oh
Oh
yeah, for
man,
sure.
I think he did Memphis mud and brown sugar on those.
Yeah. So Chris is here.
Yeah, Chris
Chris
is
is
here.
with us. Yep. What up, Chris?
The big Lubansky.
Yeah, right. When I seen the name, I was like, "That's where the joke came from."
Yes,
It only took me 8 hours to figure it out.
you're out of your element, Donnie.
So, guys, I spent from noon to 8 o'clock at night hanging with these guys, networking, sharing stories. We all ate great. Um, I think I'm still going number two. Uh, I think I just dropped off a half a chicken earlier. Um, you know what I really enjoyed for some reason. I don't know why, man. The macaroni salad and the macaroni and cheese. The big shells that you two used soaked up a lot, and it gave me a great mouthfeel. Like there's some juice here. It's not dry.
Right.
I can't stand dry stuff. You know what I mean?
We used to use a rotini, and I switched to the shells like I don't know, probably 4 years ago, and we've tried various kinds of noodles, but that medium shell just it's where it's at. And yeah, same thing with their macaroni salad. When you get a noodle that's full of that, what holds it
Flavor,
together? Yes,
flavor.
yes, it's all there.
It's a gusher.
Yes, it's a gusher. That's a good description. It's perfect.
It is. So
It's
imagine
perfect.
a pasta texture, guys, but some savory juice and cheesy,
Well,
flavorful.
speaking of cheese gushers, uh,
Cheese.
Sunday night, Phil got into town. We met up with Chris, Bernie, and Phil, and we went and did the Brown Derby. Well, we order these stuffed mushrooms that come out as an appetizer, and I grab one fresh off the plate and bite into this thing, and it took the whole roof of my mouth off with cheese. It was worse than any pizza burn ever. So all day Monday, I'm trying to nurse the roof of my mouth that I don't have and taste all the stuff you guys are making. But it was horrible. What
Yeah.
terrible time to burn the whole inside of your mouth. But yes,
Yeah.
cheese gusher.
Oh, we got a bunch of people coming over cooking a bunch of good food.
Yes.
Let me just ruin that.
Right.
Ah, man. Yeah,
So
so it was good sharing some Uncle Steve shake with you guys. That's the stuff that he loves the most, you know. And me being a Cleveland distributor for him, I always, well, usually I have a bag, but I just gave it away recently because I didn't have any on me to somebody. But usually I'll have a sample of all the flavors for
right,
in my arsenal. So you
right,
could do a dry taste on it. You could throw it on some popcorn. You could throw it on some French fries and get a better feel of it.
right.
But I didn't have any, so I was using what was in the box. And
No, and like I said, I think I got a pretty good variety of it, and I'm gonna mess around with it for sure.
yeah,
Um, I'd like to try it out. Phil kind of does the same thing. He drives around. He's got a van full of here, try this, here, try that, and the samples that he hands out in those Mylar bags and stuff like that. And
hmm
that guy is rocking across the country, dropping off flavor here and there. But
and that's
it
all
was
we can do is leave our taste somewhere.
well, yeah. I mean, I I think at this point in life, these are the people and the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. And right now, if me and my wife can go cook in New York for a freaking weekend, or Chicago, or Memphis, or here or there,
hmm
those are the kind of the breaks and the stuff that I'm going to put my energy into is traveling and seeing what's here and there in different spots, and taste a bunch of food and meet as many people and do some networking as we go along. And I'm trying to make some blaze some trails from here across the U.S. and back and forth. And I think that's as we continue to do this stuff, and if we can keep up with these events, and get some other people to host some stuff like this at their spot, and just try to get everybody together and stay connected, stay relevant.
right.
you know Not only with each other, but to the process and what's going on. And you know some of the reps that come in that we get to talk to, and get a feel for what's going on out there throughout the industry. And it's nice to think sometimes, or at least be able to sit back and talk to people and know that, hey, we're not alone in this. There's people facing the same obstacles, and you know getting along just like we are. And it's encouraging, and it's important to try to encourage each other and put people in touch with each other. We had our guy there that does our printing and stuff. Next thing I know, everybody's, where's shirts done? Well, here, talk to this guy. He'll take care of you. So if you can if you can put some stuff like that together, and it's above and beyond food. It's food brings us together, but it takes a lot more than just the food to make these wheels turn.
Yeah. So I'm always networking.
Well, you got
Um,
to.
and
Obviously, you made it out.
we were messaging earlier, and I had mentioned, I didn't really gain anything out of it as far as my social media presence goes. I did connect on Facebook with some
Uh-huh.
people, which is cool. That goes a lot further because now we're connected.
Right.
We'll always be connected and stay connected. But in my industry, what I'm doing right here, right now, with the show, the hot seat, um, my cooking videos. Maybe I'm at a concert. Maybe I'm at the drag strip, car show, bike show. You never know where I'm going to be. I'm not afraid to go live from location.
Right.
But we look for that subscriber.
Sure.
That's what helps us. The
Sure.
more eyes on the product, the better I do, the more I could grow.
Sure.
And if I'm growing, guess what? You're coming with me.
Right. it's yes,
Right. So if I'm
completely
growing,
understand.
everybody else around me is growing. You know what I mean? That's what networking does.
Yes.
The minute you shun somebody or don't share a tip or a secret, you don't belong in this community. You
Well,
know?
and that's kind of it too. Is like I will. I mean, I don't have a problem sharing recipes with people or
Mhm.
giving somebody advice or letting them know my process because no two cooks are alike. I mean, I could tell you exactly what I do, but you're going to go and do it. You're going to put your own twist on it anyways. And by the time you're finished, you know, is it going to be the same? I don't know. It could be, but
Mhm.
90% of the time, nobody's can can duplicate exactly what you do, even handing them a recipe. Um, Perfect example. I mean, like on Hell's Kitchen, they give those people those blind dish challenges where recreate this, and here's what we used. But do they all come out the same? Absolutely not. So you
Well,
can
you
you
got
can
to
pretty
factor. There's so much other stuff you have to factor in, man. It's not just give somebody a recipe, and it's tasting the best or the
yeah,
worst
yeah,
or like yours. You know?
right. No, it's got to it's a process. So as far as sharing any knowledge or information, I'll try to help anybody out at least once.
Yeah. And that's with me with my cooking videos on YouTube. I don't. I'm not good at sharing the recipe. For one, I'm not measuring or doing anything.
Are you a,
So,
are you a dumper?
but I've learned not to be a dumper. Like,
You got
like I
you're a
if
calculator
you
dumper.
yeah, if you watch what I do, you'll know. It's just a sprinkle of this or a sprinkle of that. It's not no. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It's
It's
a
teaspoons, tablespoons. You know what I mean? We call it a shake, a shimmy. You know, give
makes
it two
sense.
clicks. Stuff
Little
like that.
pop pop.
Like on that corn, I didn't know till I was done how much it was, and I don't know how much it was after I was done.
So
I just covered that whole top layer of the
evenly,
corn
evenly.
evenly. Yes, that's all I did,
So
and
season to
that's
taste.
all the seasoning I added.
Season to taste. We'll call it that.
I mean, that's hard to teach people though. They're like, teach me how to what my taste bud's supposed to be like.
Right. Well, it goes above and beyond taste buds. It's textures. It's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. You know. Um, it's
I don't know. It just I'm not the one. I sat down. I Somebody asked me a recipe, and it's a complicated recipe. Now mind you, it's the birria recipe. Now I've watched numerous Mexican grandmas make this recipe to where I'm at now with my recipe,
hmm
and I tried to write it out in the simplest form, and somebody was just like, "Oh, okay." I was like, do you know how long that took me to actually? I actually had to make the freaking thing again and actually do this, stop, write it down. Do
right.
this, stop, write it down. Do this, stop, write it down. All by myself from front to back, and the thing was on a postcard, front and back, man.
Right. Well, now Tony, on the other hand, with that charcuterie and the sausage and that stuff, that
Mhm.
guy is measure everything to the 10th, because a lot of that's ingredients are very critical. So, but he literally has a notebook of just about every recipe he's made. he keeps track of it. And then there's other notebooks of all the stuff that's been in these aging chambers and the drying chambers, and
Yeah.
he's above and beyond with the recipes. But the nice thing about doing his class is when you leave there with a photocopy of whatever you did that night. So those have started my recipe collection. Outside of that, I've written one down, and that's the meatloaf recipe. Because
okay, well, that's a good one. That's a good one to share.
Yeah, and it was you know, I can't share it now, but we could definitely throw it out there one of these days. But that was another one. It was tuning stuff into a point where it was going to hold up and maintain, for retail. And
Right.
part of developing that is making a whole bunch of shitty meatloaf. But once we got it right, I mean, it's been the same every batch ever since. So, and right now the recipe's so battered because it's thrown on my utility cart, I can't read it anymore. And I think within like the last 2 or 3 times I made it, I finally memorized it. So should I have to write it down again? I think I can, but no, it's tough to write a recipe.
I mean, even if you have somebody sitting there writing it down, it's still, I don't know, man. It messes with my mind. I'm like, shh.
Well,
I look over, I'm like, I don't even know how much that was.
See, I've when I try to do stuff like that, I've kind of graduated to Tony's methods of get the scale out, because that's really the only truly way to figure stuff out, and whether you have to do calculations between, grams and ounces to pound cups or whatever you got to do, but start with the digital scale. And it seemed to help me dial that in when I did that process. But, it was over the course of maybe 6 weeks. And just like you said, the stuff you go through to try to write this down and come up with something like that from scratch is, and it's just part of the chaos of the day. That's only 45 minutes of chaos in the morning, in between a whole bunch more. So I guess if I could lock myself in a cabin in the woods and have like unlimited supplies and sit down and just focus on that, you come up with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to just shift gears on the fly and try to calculate is it's tough to do throughout the day.
Yeah, for sure.
So what'd you think of
all I know is you had it dialed in. You had that day dialed in. I don't know if you had a planner for it or what, but I seen calculated moves. You really turned it on about 4 or 5 o'clock when it was time to get the cook for the clam bake together.
Right. And well, I mean, you could plan for something like that all you want, but you never know how the day's going to turn out. And we just had a good schedule that day, and we had a lot of people that were hands-on, and that's kind of critical. We'll throw these events, and me and my wife will be the only ones cooking for crowds like this and stuff. And to have you guys jump in, I mean, you jumped right in my kitchen and made yourself at home, which is awesome.
You said I can.
Well, yeah, that's part of what it's about. How'd you like working in there?
I liked it. I liked the setup. Obviously, I didn't have to do too much. I didn't have to use your fryer. I didn't have to use your oven. I used your sink and a prep table. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's all I was. Yeah.
Everything's within arm's reach, and
it's. I mean, I could have came in and set up your whole prep table, and got everything done. I did it in increments. You know what I mean? As I was going.
Right.
And a couple of things were already prepped before I even came, so that was helpful. And the Mexican street corn, simple. So really, all I had to do was keep your brisket nice and juicy and warm, and cook up the chorizo, which was only 4 pounds. I used 4 pounds for that. So I know the pounds of the meat, protein. I don't know the seasoning measurements.
You're better than halfway there if you know how much you used.
Right.
Um, but no, for you to come and jump in and, Bernie to jump in and Danny from SWAT and Ken Hatfield and everybody kind of, grabbed something and we all kind of really made it happen and come together is a team effort, you know? So that made it easy on us. Grace is normally so pooped by the time we get stuff set up that it's almost unenjoyable, but we had so many hands on deck that it took a lot of load off of us and made it easy for us to get through it, and it worked out great.
Yeah. So with the industry days and what we all came together for, I couldn't pick just one. How about that? There was a lot of highlights throughout the day. A lot of highlights. So with that being said, when's the next one?
We're thinking about April.
So we're gonna skip the winter.
Well, winter kind of, everybody's just happy to just get through winter, and that's kind of the idea behind doing something like this, maybe in October and April, because you have basically a kickoff to our busy season, which starts end of April, going into May. Everybody gets so crazy right out of the gate. And if
So
we do
you're
something,
saying I got invited to the Super Bowl?
yes.
Sweet.
So yes, if we get
I made
together,
it, Mom and Dad. I made it.
if we can get together, before the kickoff of the season, and then you get to that end of the season and everybody's been grinding and it's nice to get together like we did the other night and just kind of unwind and everybody can chat and break bread and get together and cook some stuff and eat and drink some beer. It's I think that's what it's about, man.
Right. So with this industry days, I know right now from what I experienced, a lot of Ohio, a lot of Chicago. Or would you say Illinois? Would you say Illinois? Or
it's Chicago.
It's Chicago.
Them guys are in the suburbs over there of Chicago. It's Chicago.
Okay.
Not to mention Illinois doesn't sound as cool.
True. True. Just like Ohio don't sound cool without Cleveland in front of it. You know what I mean?
Well, absolutely.
But yeah, so all right. So we got all winter to plan.
Yes.
And you said Phil though is going to have once a month.
He does something normally at least once a month.
So for those that want to travel, Phil in Chicago has something. It's not at a restaurant; it's at a warehouse. So you better come self-sufficient and make it work. Bring your generators. Bring your hot water tanks.
No, he's like I said, they make do up there. I've seen a lot of good food cooked out of the back of his place.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It might only be the seasoning warehouse, but on a night like that, you get a bunch of good guys together, all throwing down in the same fashion that we did, and it doesn't seem like you're in a warehouse at that point,
True. Grills are going. I mean, there's such things. As long as he has electric, we're good. There's hot plates. There, you know what I mean.
Well, he's got his
propane could fuel a lot of things.
He's got his Alvaron up there. He's got an offset smoker up there. He's got some Weber kettles. There ain't no shortage of anything to cook on.
Well, that's good. That's good. Hopefully someday I'll have my own food truck and I just stroll on in like beep beep, you know.
Sounds like some killer tolls on the way to Chicago.
Yeah. Trumpet Master showing up. What up? What up? What up? So we're at the end here. What you got on your mind, man? What you got to say? You got anything out there you want to throw out?
I'm looking forward to finishing off the month here strong. Busting out the takeout and the party orders, and let's get through the month. Me and my wife are taking off for November, and we got some states to hit and some people to see and a whole bunch of good food to eat. And we got some family in Florida we want to check up on, and just starting to try to re-gear for the winter and see what's going to happen here as far as what our hours are going to be when we get back. So we normally, I don't know what Brian's doing for the winter, but we normally gear down a bit, whether it's just do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or we do Wednesday through Saturday, lunch only, and then cook catering orders. I don't know. We got November to figure out what we're going to do, but we'll definitely be back in a limited fashion and kind of go from there and look forward to spring.
Yeah, we got a couple hour changes coming up. We already did some staff adjustment. Obviously, we're booked, hella booked for October with the food truck. So as long as no snow's on the ground, that those two things are going to be running.
Right.
We still those out there.
I just seen Monk popped in here. Is Monk still in here?
Monk's in there. Yep.
What's up, Monk? Monk. I met him up there at Phil's, and that guy's freaking amazing. He took me and Grace. We got like the VIP tour of Chinatown and got to go hit some good spots and eat some dim sum. And he took us to the market and killer hospitality, man. I don't think I'd want to see Chicago's Chinatown any other way than with that guy.
Well, that's awesome. You get some pho, some fa, some fee, some.
We had everything. Monk had me eating chicken feet.
Oh,
we tried it all.
Hey now.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Don't say you ain't gonna try it until it's put in front of you in a presentation. You never know.
Yes.
And you need a good house speaker to pump you up to eat it too.
Monk was our cheerleader. He's like, do it. Yeah, Monk hooked us up with, while we were up there that weekend, he brought a steamship round. I don't know if you've seen the video of everybody hacking away on that freaking leg of a cow. But Monk donated
a while back. Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Ron, Big Green Egg Ron, was up from Miami for that, and got to work with him. And Monk ended up. Me and Monk were gnawing on the bone together. There's a picture floating around somewhere. Like
right on.
Lady and the Tramp with the bloody cow leg in between us.
Lady and the Tramp.
But
yeah,
no, them guys. If you ever get a chance to make it up there, it's a good time, and great group of guys, and it kind of really, that's where this idea came from. Going to Phil's place and meeting different people and getting to cook with Chris and Monk and Wayne and everybody, Larry. Them guys all bring something to the table, and when you get together like that, and you're just surrounded by a bunch of good food that a bunch of everybody chips in, and that's the cool part about this.
Yeah. So out of nowhere, I got potato duty. Not that I was complaining, but I was just like, I had to think, all right, how am I going to operate this vessel? Right? It's not my vessel. I know there's potatoes boiling in there. So I'm
How am I
like,
going to get them out?
how am I going to get these potatoes out of this boiling ass pot? So that's when we were in the kitchen together, and we were like, I was like, we were like tongs. Nah, I'll be there forever. Like I need a shovel.
Pretty
I need
much.
a shovel of some sort where I could shovel the potatoes out, red skin potatoes out. And we came up with the fryer basket screen, which worked out perfect.
Yeah, that worked good. That was definitely better than dumping the pot and then starting with cold water again.
Right, right. That was the whole idea. Keep that water boiling. Just get the potatoes out of there, you know.
Right.
Hey, I didn't mind. That was one less thing you had to run around the building to worry about.
No, and we kind of we had stuff cooking everywhere.
I would have moved the potatoes back by you, and
Hey, that pot
when it happened, yeah, when it happened, we wasn't thinking of down the road.
Right. I mean, for the most part, we did pretty good. I mean, everything else migrated
Oh yeah,
around the one
sure.
side. A couple things got left behind in the middle of the patio. Excuse me, pardon me. I'm cooking potatoes. Can you sit at that table over there? But you know, those are all
The
kinks.
kids running by was my biggest fear. You know.
Yes, yes, always. You know, I have some of the same stuff with that big smoker out there cooking away. You know, sometimes customers come in and they got kids that just hit the ground running, and you never know which. You know, I'm in there like a soccer goalie booting them back out, but
Right.
you know, in the same aspect, it's hot.
Yeah.
Touch it once, you won't do it again.
I learned my lesson touching some Harley pipes. Like, oh, look, it's a pretty purple.
Oh no, bad idea.
Yeah.
That's
Yipper.
that's a burn and cauterization all in one.
I got the bottom, the fatty part of the fingers. Sow! That was it. It only took them little, all four fingers too.
That's all it took.
Yeah. Yep, that's all it took.
So how
All
are
right,
we?
man. We're about to wrap it up. We're about to wrap it up now.
Let's do it up.
So I appreciate you. Thanks for the invite. You know, from here on out, if I could attend an industry day, I'm there. You know that.
Well, we do other functions, you know, outside of just industry day. You know, throughout the year, I'm sure we'll manage to hook up.
Right.
I mean, you're only 40 minutes away.
Yeah. Give or take some highway traffic.
Right. So, well, you're not driving from Chicago.
No, and I'm glad. It's bad enough here.
Right. No,
But all right, guys. With that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to the after party. I did drop the link for those that want to come and hang out. You're more than welcome. We'll get to know each other outside of this 2 square we got going on right here. But appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I love you guys. And till next week, we are out of here.